So what's the quiet difference between a woman who feels effortless to be around and one who feels like she's trying? It's not a technique. It's not a performance. It's a way of being. And the beautiful thing is, it's available to all of us at any stage in our lives. Welcome back to Gracefully Lori. I'm Lori. If you're new, this channel is for women who want to live with intention, communicate with clarity, and create a presence that feels warm, confident, and quietly magnetic. Today we're talking about something people rarely explain: why some women are effortless to be around and how that presence naturally grows over time. To guide the conversation, I'll share with you the way I think about it, what I've noticed in other women, and what I've practiced myself. First, inner grounding. Second, outer signaling. And third, relational leadership. Not as rules, just as patterns I've seen and have lived. So let's talk about inner grounding. Women who feel effortless don't create ease because everything in their life is easy. They create ease because they're centered within themselves. From what I've observed and practiced, this grounding shows up through small choices like taking a breath before responding, choosing curiosity over defensiveness, letting small things stay small, trusting your internal steadiness instead of reacting too quickly. None of this is about perfection. It's simply choosing how you want to show up. So let me provide an example. Recently, I was out with the man I'm seeing. We slid into one of those small, unnecessary disagreements that can take over an entire evening if you allow it. Halfway through, I realized this isn't worth either of our energy. Instead of pushing my point, I paused, considered his past experiences, and then simply said, "I understand why you'd see it that way." And then I gently shifted us back to a topic that actually mattered to us. The whole mood reset, not because I won, but because I created space. That's what inner grounding looks like in real life. You can try this if you'd like. Before responding in a tense moment, ask yourself, is this meaningful or is this momentum? Am I reacting or am I choosing? Inner grounding is always the quiet beginning of effortless presence. So what is outer signaling? It's the visible behaviors people experience from you. This is the part most people overlook. Women who feel effortless to send tiny, subtle signals make others feel welcomed, at ease, respected, seen. Not because they're performing, simply because they're present. Here are the patterns I've noticed. They have eye contact that feels warm, but not intense. A softened, relaxed face and open posture. Unhurried movements. Listening that feels genuinely interested, and conversational pacing that allows space. These are techniques. They're just natural byproducts of being grounded. As an example, at a high school reunion, a man I hadn't seen in decades told me something that stayed with me. He said he always remembered that I treated everyone with kindness, that I'd stop and talk with anybody, including him, even though he said he felt like a nobody back then. He didn't remember from that night what I was wearing. He didn't remember anything specific I had said. He remembered how he felt in my presence. Those small signals matter more than we realize. I recommend you practice just one outer signal today. You could do slightly slower movements. You could do a warmer greeting, softer eyes, or a pause before responding. Tiny adjustments can shift an entire atmosphere. So let's move on to relational leadership, how you gently shape the emotional tone of your interactions. Women who feel effortless don't just have good presence, they create good presence, not through control, but through intention. They naturally guide conversations by redirecting tension without dismissing it, asking thoughtful questions, keeping the tone grounded, creating a sense of belonging, showing steadiness that others respond to. This isn't about managing people. It's about bringing more of who you are into the moment. I do ballroom dancing as a hobby, and I sometimes compete. As a natural introvert, letting myself be expressive in front of an audience used to feel impossible. But every time I let myself drop a little more of my self-consciousness, my dancing changed. I connected better, I expressed more, and people felt it. That's relational leadership, the courage to show up fully as yourself. I remember when I was first promoted into a major leadership role, I had imposter syndrome. But the more I trusted myself and the more I relaxed into who I actually was, the more effortless my leadership became. My team shifted. People approached me differently. Meetings felt more grounded, not because I controlled anything, but because I set the tone simply by being myself. So in your next conversation, ask, how can I make this easier for both of us? How can I bring warmth into the moment? What's the tone I want to set right now? Relational leadership is subtle but powerful. To sum up, when inner grounding, outer signals, and relational leadership come together, people often feel calmer, more relaxed, seen, respected, and comfortable being themselves. Not because you're easy, but because you're intentional in a way that feels natural. Some women feel effortless to be around, not because life is effortless for them, but because they learned how to show up with presence, clarity, and warmth. They manage themselves gently. They communicate with intention. They set emotional tone without force. And when you grow those qualities within yourself, you just don't improve your conversations, you elevate every room you walk into. So which part of this framework spoke to you the most today? Please tell me in the comments. Also, I've attached a free workbook below that walks you through this process. And if you're building a life filled with presence, intention, and grace, please make sure you're subscribed. There's so much more to explore together. Until next time, my graceful friends.